Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the video. Also, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be about lowering your golf scores, improving your golf game, lowering your handicap, just overall total golf game improvement, and what you as a golfer have to do and what you have to commit to if you are really serious about improving your game. But before we get started, please make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a bunch. So when we talk about improving your total golf game, you have to have a plan. You can't just go in randomly picking things out. There has to be a plan of attack for every phase of your game. And if you will develop this plan and you will stick to the plan, and every time you come to the golf course or you practice, whether you're at home or the golf course, either one, you have to have this plan in mind. So let's start off on the driving range and let's talk about full swing. And what do you need to do? Well, you need to go get a golf lesson, or you have to have somebody that you trust, and you got to figure out what it is in your swing that you have to fix. Is it something in the pre-swing fundamentals? Is it something in the backswing? Is it something at impact? Whatever that thing is, and you have to commit to fixing it. Now, you and your instructor need to come up with the drills and the practice techniques in order to fix that problem. And you've got to solve that problem and be focused on that problem. Now, I think every full swing practice should have some at-home drills. I think there's got to be drills that you can do in front of a mirror. I think there's got to be drills that you can do swinging a club or swinging something that you can do at home to help you fix these things. Now, when you get to the golf course and you get to the driving range, your practice must involve a practice station, okay? You just can't come out and dump out a pile of balls and start whacking them out into the middle of the driving range. You have to come out here with a purpose. At bare minimum, you need to have something on the ground for alignment, okay? Now, if you're working on your swing plane, put a stick in the ground forcing you to swing under the plane. Whatever that station is that you've come up with, whether you've got a towel laying on the ground. I've done lots and lots of videos with practice stations in them. But when you come to the driving range, you must practice with a purpose, and you must practice in that station. Let's go talk about some short game. So you can't talk about improving your golf game if you don't talk about your short game, okay? And if you don't address the problems in your short game and try and improving your short game, because short game is more than 50% of the shots that you hit during a round of golf. So you have to go in and take a look at your putting, okay? You have to identify where the flaw is in your putting, whether it's a mechanical flaw, whether it's a setup issue, whether it's a distance control problem, whether it's your pre-shot routine, whatever that problem is, you have to identify that problem and you need to work on it. You also, in your putting, you just need to work on continually making short putts. And as I said, learning to keep working on controlling your distance and generating feel. Now, I'm a big fan of a practice station when you practice your putting. Me, I'm a fan of the putting mirror. I'll put a link in the description below of the mirror that I like to use. But whether it's you using a mirror, you using a chalk line, you using an alignment stick, a string, whatever you want to use, get something out to make sure that you are performing the tasks that you're trying to improve, to make sure that you're doing them correctly. And then carve out time every single week to work on your short game. Don't come to the golf course and every time, like I see the majority of people here do, they spend all their time on the driving range and they completely ignore their short game. So you have to work on your putting and you have to make sure that you are performing. And you know, a number that I use with a lot of students of mine, you know, I like them to keep track of their putts, is 30. And if you can get to the point where you're averaging 30 putts or lower per round, you're doing great. If you're averaging 33 putts per round, 34 putts per round, you've got plenty of room for improvement. So get a plan together to work on your putting. Let's go talk about some chipping. So in chipping, pitching the golf ball, you have to develop great technique in chipping and pitching. It's a very simple motion, okay? And you have to identify where your pitching stroke or chipping stroke needs help, okay? And you've got to go work on it. You need to continually work on it chipping, making sure that you are getting solid contact on that golf ball. We need a ball then turf contact. I have to be hitting that ball on a downward blow, because if I'm not doing that every single time, I then can't predict what my ball is going to do when it hits the green. Now, once you've gotten your fundamentals down and you're hitting that ball solid, you need to be out there working on learning to control your distance. You need to be working on several different shots, learning to hit the low pitch and run, learning to hit a little bit higher shot, and maybe even more of a flop shot. But you've got to have all of those tools in your bag so that when you get to the golf course and you come upon one of those situations, you have the ability to pitch that ball out there and get it up and give yourself a really good chance of getting up and down. I talked about a number in putting, meaning 30. I like my students to average 30 putts or below. Let's talk about another number in pitching the golf ball and getting up and down, 50. I want my students to have an up and down percentage of at least 50%. For those really advanced students, I want that up in that 65, 70, 75% range that they're getting up and down. That's the way that you learn to lower your score. So carve out time for your short game. You can do a lot of stuff at home in your short game because it's just little shots. Find a place in your yard where you can just go hit pitch shot after pitch shot after pitch shot. Keep learning to hit that ball solid. Okay, let's go out on the golf course. So before we get into the last part of your overall plan for improvement, I want to ask y'all to leave me a comment below. Let me know how you practice. Does your practice habits and the way you practice mimic what I'm talking about here? Are you practicing with a plan? And if you're not, we need to develop you a plan. Okay, so the last component. The last component is on the golf course. You have to learn how to strategically, boy, that word was coming out a little difficult right there. You have to learn to strategically get yourself around the golf course. And playing strategic golf, you have to now know what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. And we always want to play to your strengths and avoid your weaknesses. Golf is just not a game that you get out the driver on every single tee box and you blast away. Golf is a game that you need to play with some strategy. So if your instructor is not helping you do this, you need to find somebody that will. Because regardless of how much you practice back there on the driving range, on the putting green, you have to learn to bring those skills out here to the course and know how to use them. So let's just use a quick example. Let's say the 40-yard wedge shot is not your strength. You're not very good at it. Well, you have to do everything in your power when you're playing to avoid the 40-yard wedge. So let's take, you've got a par 5 that you can't reach into. You've got to come up with a number, a distance where you want to leave your second shot or where you want to hit your second shot so that you have that number for your third shot that you're very comfortable with. Whether it's 75 yards, whether it's 90 yards, whatever that number is, but don't stand there and hit shots that leave you with a 40-yard pitch shot. If you're playing a short par 4 that you can drive one up around the green, but hey, your driver gets you up there and you're 40 yards away. Well, that's not doing you any good because you've already determined that 40-yard wedge is your weakness. You have to hit something off the tee that plays to your strength. I want to thank y'all so much for coming in and watching these videos. Okay, I want you to learn to develop a plan for your practice. you have to have a overall plan for golf improvement. It's just not a matter of, hey, I went to the driving range twice this week. You have to have other parts of the game. So think about it, get with your instructor, or leave me a comment below. Tell me what your strengths and weaknesses are, and hey, I'll send you back some information, and I'll send you back some ideas on things that you need to practice. And before you go, if you haven't given me a thumbs up, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for me. I really do appreciate it. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.